You also have a breaking the fourth wall thing in the game, right? If you say that this is a video game, the game kind of you win, right? Obviously, you have to play a few missions or you have to play around a little bit. Was this one of the first games with that element, the fourth breaking the fourth wall in video games?
I don't know many that have. Um, I kind of broke the fourth wall in a couple of ways, and so the goal of the game, in the TV show, well, it was mirrored the TV show in that the protagonist number six could never reveal why he resigned, and so I wanted to kind of mirror that by encoding your reasons for resigning as a number. So you're given a 3-digit number that under no circumstances could you ever type in, could you ever select, could you ever reveal in any given way. And so yeah, and then I put in a lot of little traps in it to try to get the player to type in or select this number. One of them is you're playing along and suddenly the game crashes. And let's say your number is your resignation code was number 415. So you're playing along, it crashes, and it says syntax error in line number 415. And if you were like most Apple users, you would type in list 415. Well, turns out that wasn't a real crash. It was just a trick to get you to reveal your number. And so you could lose the game by doing that. Then finally, at the very end of the game, it was at the very end of the game. Once you've reached a certain level and you have a dialogue with the person that's running the whole experience, who I call the caretaker. You have a kind of a philosophical discussion with the character, and if you type in the island, which is the place you're at, the island is a computer game, or the island is a computer. That's what you need to do to win. You have to undergo the realization that you are playing a video game or a computer game. And then there's a cut scene that plays in which it says, now that you made this realization, you can unplug your computer and now you're free. And it was based around the message that the reason why you're a prisoner is because you've chosen to be a prisoner to this experience because you've chosen to play it. And all it takes to be free is just decide, I'm not going to play anymore. So that was kind of a meta message within the game.
Right, that's pretty clever, and I don't know. I was curious because I couldn't find online. It's kind of a weird search. What's the first game to break the fourth wall? And then I'm thinking back. I can't think of any other game in that time period that had similar mechanics. And I would later on, think about Metal Gear Solid. I don't know if you know. In that game, raid and turn off the game. There's one part in that. There's Batman Arkham Asylum where like you're having these weird hallucinations, and it's curious to see where that stems from. Where that idea of breaking the fourth wall in a video game stems from, because it probably happened in movies, right? But
yeah, I've rarely seen it in video games, and I was probably the first person to do it in a major way. But the game had a cult following and was a bestseller for a couple of months. But unfortunately, I don't think it was influential enough that many people thought about it much afterwards in designing their own games. So it may have been a first, but unfortunately was as influential as I would have thought.
Well, I have no authority, but in my eyes, it's the first game. So if that means something,
I'll take that. Because I do think it was.
Yeah. So another interesting part, which is they talk about how the computer is, trying to stifle you or potentially collect information about you. I think it's really interesting to see where that's, gone down today in today's games, where unlike before, you didn't have any information about the player, whereas today with mobile games, with computer games, you have so much information about their play habits, where their attention is. What does a prisoner game today look like in your eyes? Have you ever thought about what you could do with such a wealth of information and kind of freedom and design?
Yeah, well, if I were making it today, it would be more about invasion of privacy and trying to motivate people by examining their past behaviors and making predictions about them. So it'd be a little bit more, instead of more of a instead of a government conspiracy, it would be more involved about how big data is being used to influence your behavior. And I would have as a player goal both resisting those influences as well as trying to safeguard one's privacy. So kind of similar themes to the original game, but in a different venue.